It's the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, where I go and look at loan plays and strategies specifically designed for GPPs. This is a show for people who are already informed on daily fantasy sports and how this contest operates. If you have any questions related to NASCAR that isn't a stupid question, feel free to shoot it my way on Twitter at BrandonCruzDFS. Most importantly, take everything you hear with a grain of salt and use your best judgment when making entries. Additionally, if you have a gambling addiction, that's not my problem. Check your feelings at the door. We're talking about the second Kansas race. This race is the Friday race. I'm recording this directly following the Thursday night race. And boy, what a doozy. What a doozy this race was. This was an interesting race. We got a lot of ups and downs. I'm probably going to break this into more of a breakdown of what happened in this race and how to approach it or how to apply it for tomorrow's race. My general thoughts are still the same on the cars that I like for tomorrow's race. If you listen to today's podcast, which you should have. If you didn't, it's still up there. It's always going to be there. But here, so let me go in and look at this here before I start looking at the sheet that I use, which is the Race for the Prize sheet. So go to racefortheprize.com to get the fantasy NASCAR spreadsheet that I use and that you need to be using as well. Saves you time, helps you make choices on drivers that you want. It's all there. It runs through Google. It's so simple, so easy. You can look at drivers' history. You can look at their race ratings. You can make lineups through it, which is what I do. I use his lineup optimizer. I put in my own projections, and voila, those are how I make my lineups. So go check it out and all that. But and all that. I'm blowing it off. I mean, you guys hear about it every time, and I mean it. It's on the screen. Go check it out. Go to racefortheprize.com to get it. Looking at this race here, let's look at the finishing order of this race. So we're going to go at the bottom. Obviously, Brandon Jones finished dead last, and I believe the way it's going to be is a top 15 inversion. Let me just check this to make sure. Top 15 will be inverted for starting lineup tomorrow. Everybody else is going to start where they finished today. So that would indeed put the 19 starting dead last. They have a backup car. I'm not really worried about it. But Brandon Jones, I mean, say what you will about him and his driving effort. You know, he just had nowhere to go when Jeb got loose on the bottom. And leave it to Jeb Burton. You know, he's got to get loose, driver. Somebody had to do it. It's going to be Jeb. You know, his career is on the line, and he's just going to dump it in turn 3. Or in turn 1. Unfortunately, there's Stephen Leach starting parked as always for NBA Motorsports. Tommy Joe Martins, I assume it says he had a rear gear issue. Let's go investigate here, because as I said before, Tommy Joe Martin is I'm not playing Tommy Joe Martin until he can show me that he can run well. And not, why did I go to Chase Briscoe? What is this? Interesting. Stupid Twitter. Let's see what happened here. Let's see. Oh, he's just been off. He's just been off of Twitter since July 4th. I didn't even bother checking. He just says, at this point, I'm too humiliated to be on social media. Thanks, everyone, for the encouragement, and especially to his sponsors for their support. Team Martins will turn things around. Let me check. It was not the night we were hoping for, back tomorrow. He doesn't say. It said that the issue could potentially be a fourth gear grinding and causing the vibration. That's the only thing we have to go off of. So we're assuming he had a mechanical failure of some sort yet again. I mean, that's just Tommy Joe Martin, how it's going to be. Like I said, I'm not too interested in there. Colby Howard, a man who I think 18% of the field had in the $8 GPP, and who was running well. And there were so many pissing contests in this race. It was ridiculous. Like, I felt like I was at a short track or something. But him and Alfredo got into it, probably cut a tire down or something. But, you know, Fox only has, 4 cameras at the track, so we didn't see what happened to Howard. I assume he blew a tire, got in the wall, or got in the wall and hit the tire barrier on the bottom. And then why? Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. Garrett Smithley, unfortunate, had brake issues. Unfortunate, because I expected more from him. Luckily, I only had 1 lineup with him. I only made 3 lineups, 2 cashed. We had a good profit. And speaking of profit, the DFS Tavern community there, Piggy, my main man, Piggy. Oh, man. Uh, Piggy, congratulations on your takedown. He's a guy in our Discord who has been supporting us for a long time. We always chit chat NASCAR. He ended up taking down more than $300 tonight, so that is awesome. That's good, very good. A couple other guys won as well. But like I said, if you guys win and you guys want to thank us or help us out or anything, please tweet it out. That's what Piggy did. I know the other guy did that as well as I'm recording this. Yes, he did. But thank you guys so much for retweeting that, and congratulations to our guys in our Discord there. That makes us look good. But Kobe Howard, unfortunate. He was running well. I assume Colby is probably going to be. Well, it's hard to tell right now because I don't know who has a backup car. I don't know who doesn't right now. So, because I'm recording this at 10:30, at 10 o'clock, following the race. And then Garrett Smithy, like I said, brake issues. Matt Mills was just running, but he ended up going laps down. He was just slow. I don't know if you guys pay attention to the broadcast or whatnot, but Matt Mills was slow. He was probably 2/10 faster than what minimum speed was. And then Earnhardt had a suspension issue. I assume, yet again, Fox doesn't show us, they don't show us anything on the broadcast. But on the final restart, or second to final restart, before the green-white checkered, when the field got spread out and went 4 wide in turn 1, he was stuck in the middle between people. I think he was one of the guys that Gregson got into, or he was involved in like the checkup, the accordion effect that Gregson caused, or the Junior Motorsports guys caused, and I assume he had a tire rub or something, and then it says that he ended his night due to a suspension issue. Mason Massey just ran under BJ McLeod, it was just slow. Brandon Brown got wrecked by Haley. So it's not, but Haley and Chastain are both menaces, and this night proved it because they both took out guys. Brandon Brown just got dumped by Justin Haley. I'm surprised he was still running. How he only went 3 laps down is surprising. Josh Williams nearly died down the back straightaway. I mean, he took a hit. Man, what a hit! What a hit! You could tell I'm in a good mood tonight because I'm way more animated. But wow, that was a wild hit for Josh. Wait, no, not Josh Williams. That was Ronnie Bassett. Josh Williams. I swear to God, I haven't been drinking. Josh Williams was just running. He was slow on power. Cody take it behind the wall. Listen, I don't judge guys for how they were running, but when they wrecked in front of on the final crash, you just see Cody lock the tires up and then just spin. I assume he hit Timmy Hill in the grass or something because Cody was by the wall and he got on the brakes hard, and the car shot dead left, came down across the track, and he got in the grass. He hit Timmy or something. He made contact with somebody on that final crash. Alex Lebay the broadcast was saying he was running well. Anytime I looked, he was not in a good position for DFS. Vinnie Miller, a play that I should have had more of, finished 23rd. Bailey Curry finished 22nd. What is this Mike Harmon stuff doing? We can't use it for tomorrow's race because these guys are finishing pretty much where their ceiling is, because Bailey is 22nd. And then Kyle Weatherman is 8th. Kyle Weatherman is 8th in that back of the blue. What is going on? Did Mike Harmon get more? Something happened. Oh, there we go. As I said, Big E, thank you for sharing that on Twitter. I really do appreciate that. But yeah, the Mike Harmon cars, I have got to do more research. And luckily, it doesn't matter for tomorrow's race because they're both starting really, really high. And they're not going to work for DFS. I don't see that happening. There's too much chalk in the back. But if DraftKings, just Kyle finishing 8th, I mean, they ran that car good. And I thought it was just Pocono and the Indy road course race, but maybe Mike Harmon has just been sandbagging that much to where, this is the one car, we got to start and park or whatnot. And then both these cars are running this good. I'm almost mad that they're starting based on how this race finished, because I would really like to look more into Kyle Weatherman and Bailey Curry in the future. Timmy Hill, what a shame, man. That was such a good car. He was running. He ran in the back the first two stages. He was running about 28th. Then they got to the meat and potatoes of this race. With about 40 laps left, he was running in the top 15, top 13. He got caught up in that accident on the last lap, and it looks like it's a pretty substantial wreck. I assume they're going to go to a backup car tomorrow. And this is the Hattori joint venture here, but that chassis isn't lost, but I mean that car is totaled. It tore the radiator off, tore the right front off. I assume it's got to damage the motor. I mean that frame, not the frame, but the crate, the engine crate. What am I talking about? Like the block itself. There's no way that engine survived that impact, because he whacked. Who did he whack? I don't think he hit Bassett. I don't remember who he hit. Maybe Allgaier. He hit somebody on the bottom. I don't remember who it was off the top of my head right now. But that car is destroyed. He's most likely going to go to a backup car and probably start and park. MBM Motorsports can't really afford that, even if it's a Hattori joint venture. I don't think Hattori brought another car for them. We'll have to keep our eyes out on that. Justin Allgaier just got wrecked. Like I said, Ronnie Bassett. Man, what a hit! Again, it's not too often you see a hit like that. Like, that was a violent impact, man. I mean, he got at least 3.5 feet of air on that left front part of the car after it hit, because it hit with the right front, launched it around in a 360. I mean, what did DW say when Newman got turned around at Daytona? He's like, man, this is 3,200 pounds being tossed up in the air like a feather. And I know Ronnie Bassett didn't flip, but I mean, that's a lot of airtime. BJ McLeod did a BJ McLeod, ran 18th. Harrison Burton, gosh, Harrison. Same old. Chad Fitchup, the hero, man. I had a lot of Chad Fitchup in my three lineups. Didn't expect him to do this well. Finished 16th. That's fantastic. That almost counters the destroyed race car that Timmy Hill has for that team. Myatt Snyder going to be starting on the pole. But like I said, I'm just going through the finishing order. Myatt Snyder, he did not run good at all. His lap times were not good. This is one of the rare occasions I was looking at the race center on NASCAR.com and paying attention more to what the teams were saying on Twitter. And Matt Snyder just did not have the speed. I don't think that was him being in traffic. I just don't think that car was fast. Jesse Little did exactly what we need him to. Started where he finished, in the same vicinity. And that's all we needed. Joe Graff Jr., the chalk that you need to play, finished 13th. Out of nowhere, he was running horrible. I don't know what this was. I was like, oh, dude, this is bad chalk. He's running like 20th the entire time, which isn't bad, but, we wanted him to finish 13th. That's where he finished. Jeremy Clements just lucked his way into 12th. Gregson threw away a good race. Brett Moffitt, halfway through the race, first off, the Anthony Alfredo stuff, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified that, because I had a lot of Anthony Alfredo in my lineups before the race started. And I went to go get food, and so I came back right before lock. I got in my apartment, like 5 minutes before lock, and the race had already started, or they were already rolling off of pit road, and so I'd logged on my computer to watch the race, and they were like, oh, Anthony Alfredo, he's not pulling off the grid. He's having steering issues. And I was like, oh, no, not this again, because we got this no practice BS. I'm not dealing with this again. I dealt with it with Briscoe and other guys having issues. I'm not dealing with this. I'm pulling all my Alfredo. Pulling it all. So with like 20 seconds before lock, I went in, took out all my Alfredo, put in Brett Moffitt, just because that was the only guy I could click, and I knew I didn't have any Brett Moffitt before, but I knew if I was going to make more lineups, I probably would have had him. I went with Brett Moffitt because I was like, I'm not dealing with Alfredo going laps down at the start. I'm not having my lineup dead on arrival, which wasn't a horrible play. I know Alfredo finished 6th, Brett Moffitt finished 10th, but Brett had 6% ownership. I'm not sure what Alfredo's was. But yeah, so going through the race, I was like, oh, so, dude, Moffitt is doing better than Alfredo. This was awesome. And not 2 seconds later, Chastain just pulls a Chastain and just runs him into the fence. I mean, flat out ran out of talent. Moffitt stayed on pit road. They repaired that car. I thought it was damaged way more than what it was because they elected to lose a lap under caution to repair it. He was 1 lap down, and he was him and I forgot who else was a lap down because I was paying attention to this. But when Burton wrecked, he got the wave around, came down pit road, put 4 tires on it, drove through the field to finish 10th. And you just need to remember that this team shouldn't even be here. They're only here because he's been running extremely well. They were only going to run a handful of races this year, and I stress that because it's finishes like this that help them get sponsorships. If they're getting enough money to continue running here, I mean, it's a darn shame he keeps starting 12th or 10th because this is a good car. We just need him to get some place differential and whatnot. Anyway, it worked out. Sieg lucked into it. Kyle Weatherman, like I've already noted, we need to pay attention to this in the future. It doesn't really work for this race because he's already going to be starting inside the top 10 for Friday's race, so I'm going to fade him there. Let me see. Hold on. Weatherman is $5,100 for Friday's race. Man. 5,100. That means he'll need, what is that, 26 points, 25 points. He needs to, say if he inverts 8th, he'll start. Let me see, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'll start 10th or something. He needs 25 points. I could be wrong. He needs 25 points. Oh, man, that's rough because I did not trust that car. That's a tough one. That's doozy. I'll probably come back to this in the morning and really debate on whether I want Weatherman. Because if Weatherman runs as well as he did tonight, which, you know, I got to think he will. Because my car, if there was going to be a race that you start and park, it would have been the first one. Like, you would have just been like, okay, we'll save the car for the second one or whatnot. Weatherman has an opportunity to, yet again, pull a Jesse Little and maybe be needed in your lineups for that salary relief and possible top 15 upside. I think he can lose at least 5 positions and still be okay. Same with BJ McLeod. That's just how it is. You just have to deal with Colby Howard starting in the back of the field at $4,900 for Friday's race. Haley finished 6th. Haley finished 7th. Alfredo finished 6th. Michael Nett snuck in a top 5, which I did not expect him to do. I figured he'd finished 8th. I mean, stuff went crazy at the end. So either way, and then you have the guys who were fastest at the end. I mean, Briscoe, Chastain, Herbst, and Cindric. Why can't he do this every race? Out of all the tracks I thought Herbst would wreck at, I thought it'd be this one. He did not. Interesting. Looking at the invert. Looking at DFS potential for Friday. I'm not going to really dive down into the history because I did that in the last video. I'm just going to talk about who I'm interested in. So looking at this, and it all depends. I mean, like I said, this is following the race. I don't know if these guys have backup cars or not. I don't know if they're going to run the same chassis. I'm pretty sure Joe Gibbs Racing, Junior Motorsports, they're going to have backup cars. I don't know what the deal is with JD Motorsports, with some of the BJ McLeod cars, with MBM Motorsports and Timmy Hill. I don't know what the status is on those. But right now, assuming that everybody is going to attempt to run most of the race tomorrow, Brandon Jones just going to be shocked that you're going to have to eat. Starting dead last. Like, look at this. Let me put this together. Let's see if we go... Brandon Jones is $9,800. This is a situation where you just need to eat it, whether he hits value or not. Is Jeb racing tomorrow? I don't know if Jeb is racing. It's Daniel Hemrick in the 8 car tomorrow, who has also wrecked in the last races. That's $7,400. Right? I don't think Jeb is racing. I think it's Daniel Hemrick. Let me check right fast. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so it is going to be Daniel Hemrick in that 8 car. He did a really funny tweet. He was wishing. Go check out Hemrick's Twitter. That's pretty entertaining there. But Hemrick starting dead last. I mean, they're going to be like, oh, it's a backup car and it's a driver change. Go to the rear of the field. You know, that's 2 positions either way. I think you're going to need Daniel Hemrick and Brandon Jones tomorrow. That's just a core that you're probably going to need. You're probably going to have to eat the chalk there. I don't think tomorrow is a situation to where you need the 3 $10,000 drivers like it was tonight. I think you're going to need Brandon Jones and Daniel Hemrick. Tommy Joe Martin's, like I said, not going to trust him. Colby Howard, if JD Motorsports has a backup car, and I get any wind that they're not going to start in park, I would love to play Colby for 40. What is it? 49? Let me look. Yeah, he's $4,900 tomorrow. I got a feeling. I just got a feeling that that's going to be a very common core, and I think you're going to have to use that. It's going to be Brandon Jones, Daniel Hemrick, and Colby Howard. Average salary remaining $9,300. You can do whatever you want after that, but I think that's going to be popular. So maybe you want to pivot off of that. Maybe you want to focus off of Colby Howard and use Kyle Weatherman or something like that. It all just depends on how you're feeling there. Let me go up. Because of that, because of Colby starting there and some other guys, I'm not interested in Matt Mills. He was too slow, just too slow. He's going to finish worse tomorrow. Jeffrey Earnhardt, that would probably be the first guy I'd look at. Mason Massey, that'd be another guy I'd start to look at. Brandon Brown, if they have a backup car, I'm fine going there. Josh Williams, not interested. Cody, take it behind the wall, not interested. Alex LeBay, not interested. Vinny Miller, going to be starting 23rd, just starting too high up. Can't do it. Bailey Curry, no interest. Timmy Hill, going to be going to a backup car tomorrow, regardless if they plan to run the full race or not. Starting 21st, look, that's close to his ceiling. Even with a Hattori car, that's just close to his ceiling. Not too big into that. Justin Allgaier, a guy I want to look at. And they're going to have a backup car. They're going to start at EOL, but I'm fine with that. Excuse me, I started burping. Ronnie Bassett, probably not going to have a backup car, or they're not going to run well, because they have destroyed. Look at Ronnie's last finishes. Hold on. Where are you at, Mr. Ronnie? Ronnie Bassett, where are you? Or not even Ronnie, but who's driving the car tomorrow? I'll have to look. But yeah, not interested in that 90 car. Let me continue. BJ McLeod. I think there's better value. I think there's better plays out there. Probably not going to use him. Harrison Burton. If I'm going to use somebody starting in this range who has a good car, it's probably going to be Allgaier. I trust him more than Harrison Burton. Chad Fitchett, like I said, already at his ceiling. Matt Snyder going to be starting on the pole. Or actually, Cindric going to be starting 15th. I'd rather go him. Riley Herbst, who drove through the field. If they run the same setup, the same car, Riley could be a top 5 driver. He could have a chance to win this. He just needs things to go his way. I'm scared to play him, man. People might see, oh, Riley ran well. He's starting 14th. I just can't do it. I'd much rather go Chastain, honestly. I'd hate to say that, but I'd rather go Chastain. Briscoe, gonna need him. Annette, this is a situation where I like Annette a little bit. I need to see where the ownership is. How expensive is Annette? Let me look. Where is Annette? Annette, where are you, dude? Where are you in the DraftKings? That's $8,900. I think that's a good pivot off of Alfredo. People should play Alfredo. They like him. What is Alfredo's price? Alfredo tomorrow is $9,100. I actually like Annette as a pivot off of Alfredo for tomorrow. Haley, not interested. Probably too expensive. I don't think it's going to work. Weatherman, I will play him at other races. Can't do it oh man, I don't know. I'll probably have a lineup with him. Screw it. And that's hoping that he runs the same car, same setup, and Mike Harmon and that group go in with the same mentality as today. If he starts 8th, or if he starts, what would that be, 10th? If he starts 10th, 9th, 11th, I'm trying to do it off the top of my head. He could probably finish 16th and still be okay. I'm okay with that. Sieg, not interested. Brett Moffitt starting too high up, can't do it. Noah Gragson, the dude who should have won this race, who had the most dominant car, will probably be the closest starting guy up in the front that I'm going to look at. And then I'm not interested in Clements, not interested in Graff, not interested in Little, and Snyder just did not show the speed. I don't think that clean air is going to do much for him. We'll go back to him on the higher banked run 1.5 miles and cookie cutter tracks. Just don't think we can do it here tomorrow starting on pole. I don't think Snyder gets it. I just don't think Snyder is going to lead the laps. And you're going to need those guys in the back. Hopefully this helps you. I know normally I don't break these down, but there's not a whole lot to go off that I really can't add other than what I said in the first video. This is more of just a reaction video. These second races kind of suck. You got to be thankful as a DFS player that we had Rex in this race, because it broke up the ownership for tomorrow's race. Because otherwise, all the good guys would have finished up front in this race. All the bad guys would have finished in the back, and then everybody's going to have the same lineup. This is a situation where there's enough good plays spread around the back end of the field and around the field that I think you can make a lineup that isn't duplicated, and all you got to do is pivot at one or two places. Like I said, I think you're going to need Brandon Jones. I think you're going to need you're going to need Daniel Hemrick. Probably either Allgaier or Burton there. Maybe Herbst as the guys who I assume are going to carry ownership. You'll probably need that. And then looking at the chalk for cheap value, Howard, maybe Mason Massey, maybe... I think that's about the only ones I'd really trust for cheap value. Maybe BJ McLeod, maybe Earnhardt, somewhere around there. It's going to be, what did I say in the Cup Series video? I don't even know if that's updated yet for DFS Tavern, or if that's up yet. But as I said in that video, I'd much rather pivot off of my potential dominators or good drivers and just eat the chalk for the underfooted teams or the cheaper guys on DraftKings. That's how I'd approach it. Thank you guys for listening. We have a Patreon for DFS Tavern if you want to come in and chat with me for NASCAR. I know we don't officially cover Xfinity, but I talk Xfinity in there. If you guys have questions, I'll answer you. I'll help you out. It worked tonight. You know, we can say that again because people are tweeting that out. So thank you guys for tweeting it out. It makes us look good. It helps us out. And I'm stressing to you, we need help on Patreon. If you guys would really like to support us, it really helps me out. It helps Anzo out. It helps David out. Please, please, please consider joining our Patreon and come hang out with us. We'll help you out in UFC. We'll help you out in NASCAR. We'll help you out in PGA. And then I have my own Patreon that I use for donations and mainly donations only. I have a Discord attached to that as well, but it's going to be the same information. Probably less information than I give out in my Tavern Discord channel, just because, you know, that's what my main focus is there. But if you guys want to support me, if you want to support DFS Tavern, please go to our Patreons. You can just search up BrandonCruzDFS on patreon.com or DFS Tavern on Patreon and go from there. I will work on a Truck Series video tomorrow. Wow, I'm going to have 3 videos this week. 4 videos, actually. That's wild. Best of luck, guys. Enjoy the race. Hopefully it works out in your favor, and we will chat again tomorrow when we're talking Truck Series, and peace out.